All right, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, we are going to go through day 2 of the air and water lecture. I know we went over this slide yesterday, but I wanted to address something real quick that I noticed a lot of you put on your question of the day. A lot of you answered that CO2 and H2O are the most abundant element. These are compounds. Compounds are the combinations of different elements. The most abundant element by itself is nitrogen in the atmosphere. All right, so I just wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that. All right, so we're going to talk about nitrogen real quick. As demonstrated in the previous pie chart, about 78% of the atmosphere is made up of nitrogen. It's maintained by something called the nitrogen cycle. We talked about the water cycle before. This is similar, but it is specifically for nitrogen. So nitrogen is taken out of the atmosphere by certain bacteria in the soil, and that's how a lot of plants will end up getting the nitrogen that they need to grow. There's a similar nitrogen cycle for marine organisms and ocean water. So there is a nitrogen cycle. Beyond knowing what it is and that it exists, you guys really don't have to know much more than what's on this slide. Here is a diagram of the nitrogen cycle. You can see how there's atmospheric nitrogen. That's the stuff that makes up 78% of the air we breathe. It's inert, meaning it doesn't do anything for us. We just breathe it in and out. It doesn't really make any difference to us whatsoever. All right, oxygen. This is the important stuff that we need in the air that we breathe. 21% of the atmosphere is oxygen. As I mentioned yesterday, there have been times in Earth's past where their oxygen was much higher percentage of Earth's atmosphere, and so that's why they were giant insects. They were able to grow to a much larger size back in the Carboniferous period, which is terrifying. So 21% of the atmosphere is oxygen. Things that remove oxygen from the air, animals, including us, when we inhale, we're taking that oxygen out of the atmosphere and bringing it into our bodies. Bacteria do the same thing, same gas exchange. Anytime you burn anything, you are removing oxygen from the atmosphere. So forest fires, that has been in the news a lot this year in California and Australia. Burning of fossil fuels is a big one, and also the breaking down of rock. So rust is actually a type of very, very slow burning that takes oxygen out of the atmosphere. There's only one thing that adds oxygen back into the atmosphere, and that's photosynthesis. That is why plants are so freaking important. Plants are important. They're the only thing that put oxygen back into our atmosphere. The only thing. We need them. Badly.
Hello?
All right, this is the oxygen cycle. There is a cycle, much like the water cycle and nitrogen cycle. Just give a glance over this real quick.
Your girls are so cute.
And then carbon dioxide. This is a big one.
I can imagine. I gotta wait till they
That's
grow
talked
up.
about with global climate change.
Well, you have sisters, right?
Carbon's necessary, and we need it, but too much in the atmosphere it's a greenhouse gas. And there is something called the carbon cycle. There's a long-term carbon cycle and a short-term carbon cycle, but we'll talk more about that tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. See you tomorrow, guys. Bye.